This is Wade, and you are in Wade World. So, for those of you who might be slightly triggered, don't be triggered, that's for girls and children. By today's topic, this is going to be a series on honestly looking at the viewpoint of others. It's not a justification of whether they are right or wrong, it's more of an analysis of from their perspective, what they think is that right. So today's topic of discussion is our favorite resident Israeli guy who lives as an American, Ben Shapiro. All right. So from Ben Shapiro and all of his ilk, from their perspective, right? This is what they think. So Ben Shapiro thinks that Israelis, which are Jews by blood, genetics, they deserve a homeland. They deserve to have a land. They deserve to live in the land if they're genetically Jewish. They deserve free health care. They deserve the support. And they deserve absolute support for their homeland, right? And we're going to look at it from the perspective of is he right? So, if you are from a group of people, the Jews, who believe that they are a race defined by genetics, you are a Jew if you are born from your mother, who should be a Jew. So, if there are people who decide and believe that Jewishness is a race, it's genetic, and then they cover it with a religion, but the basic is the race. They are race first. Is Ben Shapiro right in this? Absolutely. Race is above religion. This is absolutely obvious to anyone who has actually lived among different races for an extended period of time. Whether you like or dislike them, racial differences, genetic differences are the bedrock of reality. There is a difference between various breeds of horses. There is a difference between a horse, a donkey, and a zebra. You wouldn't put a donkey in a horse race. Neither would you put a zebra in a horse race, right? So, is Ben Shapiro and his ilk right in saying that Jews are a unique race? Yes, they are. All the races are unique. I'm not saying special. Wade is not saying special. Wade says unique. So he's correct. Does their unique race deserve a homeland? Here's the reality: no race deserves anything except what its capabilities allow it to take. So, do the Jews deserve Israel? Yes, if they can take it and keep it. Very simple. So, is he right from that perspective? Absolutely. Number three, is Ben Shapiro correct in saying that Israelis deserve free health care and a lot of perks and a great quality of life in Israel? Yes, if you are a race that has the capability to take some land for your people, then you deserve to have the best quality of life in that land. So, number three, is he right? Yes, he's right. Number four, Ben Shapiro and his ilk say that Israelis and Jews have a right to Israel because they are genetically a different race of people following a different religion, and we have established that all of this he is correct. But he doesn't extend that to non Jewish nations like America or Europe or any other nation. Any other nation like America or most nations in Europe, UK, New Zealand, Australia, Canada, white nations, maybe Korean nations, Japanese nation, South American, South Asian, African. So all these other nations, right? They don't have that right. This is what Ben Shapiro says. They are a multicultural melting pot. Melting pot was a term invented by a Jew. And they should just allow all the races into their nations, and everybody's an economic unit. And if you get kicked out of your house because somebody from a completely different race comes and takes it, and that's just them's the breaks. That's just how it is. So is Ben Shapiro and his ilk correct in saying that you, in your nation, not being a Jew, don't really have a nation, don't deserve a nation, and don't really deserve all the rights and privileges that Jews do? Well, actually, he's right. Why is he right? Again, we are looking at it from his perspective, right? Judaism, the race of these people and the religion, is very well coherent. It's very coherent and very well coordinated. So their race and their religion says we are the chosen people. A lot of religions have this actually. The Christians say we are God's chosen people. But this grace can be extended to others who are not of the same race, which is foolish, but it is what it is. So if you look at it from the lens of a race that considers itself to be chosen, and that it considers that it's passed down genetically, and exceptions notwithstanding, if 0.0001% you convert some people for some political military gain, it has basically no impact on your genetics or gene pool, right? So, from the perspective of a people who think that they are chosen, yes, of course he's right. Jews are chosen, Israelis are chosen, you're not. You're just some goy, you're just some dude. You're not a Jew. You don't have the same privileges and rights. Jews deserve a homeland. Jews deserve to live in peace. Jews deserve a chosen race status. You don't because you're not a Jew. So is he right that America and Western Europe and South Asia, South America, Africa, East Asia, Australasia, Oceania, all of these, the Middle East, are just economic units where people can just come and live from different races, do whatever the hell they want, compete with each other. They should not gang together like a race and work in their own self-interest, whether they're white, brown, Oriental, black, whatever, African, South American. Like nobody else should gang up and tribe up and do for them what the Jews are doing for you. Is he right in this? Yes, he's actually right in this from his perspective. Because remember, Jews think of things in terms of race, and religion is a little varnish over it. Jews are an ethnocentric people, and race, in reality, is above everybody. If they are the chosen people, then everybody else by default is not chosen. And if you are the privileged class, that means you have privileges that no one else has and no one else is entitled to. So, even in the number 4 point, Ben Shapiro is actually correct. Number 5. Now, a lot of people like Ben Shapiro and a lot of other Jews live in multiple Western nations and constantly influence the government to go to war for Israel. So basically, if Israel is attacked, Jews flee Israel to go to these countries to lobby the government to send their men to fight Israeli wars. And if you don't fight Israeli wars, you're racist, bigoted, anti-Semitic, and whatnot. So basically, if you don't die for Israel, not being a Jew, not being a chosen one, not having the privileges, not being allowed to complain that your nation is being destroyed by massive illegal immigration funded by these people, then you're an evil person. And you're an even more evil person if you don't go to war to die for Israel. So is he correct in believing this? Yes, he's right. Because from Ben Shapiro's point of view and all of his ilk's point of view, so he's just a figurehead, right? This is the entire race has bred for centuries to exacerbate these genetic tendencies. And genetics, along with hormones, 100% dictate who you are. It's like hard coding in your brain, which is like your brain is designed a certain way physically. To break those pathways is pretty much requires insane amounts of willpower or an act of God. So is Ben Shapiro and his ilk right in saying that you should shut up, let your countries turn into multicultural cesspits while the Jews have their own country. And also, you should go and die for the Jews so that they can have their own country. He is actually right. Because again, remember, Ben Shapiro and his ilk are chosen. You are not chosen. Are you a Jew? Oh, congratulations. Well, then you know that Ben Shapiro is right and you agree with me. Oh, you're not a Jew? Tough shit. You're not chosen. You don't have the privileges. And from his perspective, for what he's doing for his race, he's absolutely right. You are worthless. You should shut up when your country is invaded by millions of different races who make a big soup. And all of these races are imported by Ben Shapiro's and his ilk. So open borders and love and flowers for your country, but closed borders for Israel. And you are not a Jew, so you shut up about it. Also, you should go and die for Israel because Israel needs to fight a bunch of countries. And they're the chosen ones. Chosen ones can't die, right? Their life is more precious. So is Ben Shapiro right? Yes, of course he's right in this. Because you have to put yourself in the mind of a person or a creature like Ben Shapiro and his race. Right? Now, number 6. Do you have to send money to Israel and the Jews so they can live a nice life, have free education, free health care, free and subsidized housing from their government? So you can go and start a family as a Jew and have many little Jews running around with a nice house, free checks coming in every month. And that is taken from the taxpayers' pockets in America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, the UK, and all of Europe and other countries that can do it. So basically, you are going to be paying tax to Jews so they can live a better life. Is Ben Shapiro right in that this aid is required? Of course, you know the answer is he's right. Look, Ben Shapiro is from the race of chosen people, privileged people. You are not. Your money belongs to them. Your hard work belongs to them. Your blood and soil belongs to them. You should not question supporting your superiors. In fact, they have a right to your earnings, just like feudal lords and your kings did. The difference is that Jews, as rulers, have taxed your income every single day of your life, whereas the kings and lords only taxed you when they wanted to go to a war and they couldn't keep taxing you forever. But under Jewish laws, under Jewish rule, you as a Goyim are going to have your income taxed from birth to death and everything else taxed as well, because that's just the kind of rulers they are. So do you have a duty to support Ben Shapiro and his ilk in Israel? Yes, you do. You bloody well do. Because from his perspective, you are inferior, you are not chosen. And this, he says it pretty openly. And many people of his ilk say it pretty openly. We're chosen, you're not. So, from this perspective, number 6 point, Ben Shapiro is right. Right? So, just to recap, Ben Shapiro is right that the Jews are a race genetically distant and distinct with a varnish of religion. They deserve a homeland, but you are not, right? You are not a distinct or separate race. All the races are the same. There is no race except for the Jewish race. Number 2, they deserve a homeland, but you don't. Because again, they are a race and you're not. And a race that thinks like that is absolutely right, forcing you to think like that, right? Number three, you as a non-chosen non-Jew have a right to allow everybody from all over the world into your nation and become an economic unit because you're not chosen. You don't deserve a nation and you don't deserve a country. And he's right in that because you're not chosen, right? He is, and his ilk is. Number four, you should go and die for Israel in Israeli wars because they are chosen. You are not. So basically, your life is not as precious. You're basically worthless. And he and his ilks, their lives are more precious. Is he correct in this? From his perspective, of course he is. Number five, you have to give your money and your taxes to the Jews and Ben Shapiro and give aid to Israel. If you're not giving aid to Israel, give aid to some Jewish organizations who will use that aid to make their life better. Of course, you have to do it. Of course, you're going to be taxed from birth to death because you don't have any emperors of your own race or lords of your own race. You are ruled by Jews, and they are the chosen race according to them, and you are not. So you are basically some cattle. You should be happy they're allowing you to live and have a life and work. They deserve your taxes, right? Number six, they deserve all the goodies that come: free healthcare, subsidized housing, and a greater quality of life from the money that you give them. But you don't. If you can't make it in your nation, get a job. If you gotta live in an expensive city, go to a poor city because they deserve the best life because Ben Shapiro and his ilk are chosen. Again, you are not. You are basically serfs. And you're worse than slaves because in ancient Egypt, slaves were taxed, like the worst slaves were taxed a maximum of 20% of their income. You are taxed at 40, 45, and ridiculous amounts, right? So you're basically worse than a slave. Number seven, Israel has closed borders. Only ethnically Jewish people are allowed to settle there and they should rule because they have a distinct race and they deserve it. Absolutely true and in accordance with the nature and reality. But you, on the other hand, should not talk about closed borders. In fact, a lot of Jewish organizations import hundreds and hundreds and millions of immigrants from much inferior races and cultures, intellectually, pretty much, and physically, into your nation, and you shouldn't say anything about it because you don't deserve closed borders or a nation based on blood and soil. Because if you said you're not chosen, congratulations, you're a good boy. So you don't deserve any of that. You deserve open borders and limitless immigration until your nation looks nothing like what your ancestors built, and you look around, it's a sea of dissimilar faces, all hating each other, because all of you guys are not chosen. You're not chosen. You guys are the unchosen, right? So, number seven point of Ben Shapiro is right. You're very bigoted and very racist and very xenophobic if you don't want unlimited number of Africans and Indians and South Americans and who knows, Mongolians in your nation, but Israel is only for Jews. Is he right in this? Of course he is. Now, the eighth and final point would be the fact that most of the Jewish people say that we control the media or we control the banks or we control the tech industry because we're just that gifted and intelligent. And you shouldn't question it. Is Ben Shapiro right in that they're gifted and intelligent? Well, if I'm a chosen race and I have 300 applicants, out of which two are from my chosen race, why would I choose to give the job to the 298 inferior applicants. I will give it to my people, chosen race guys. If I have millions or billions and I want to fund a company, and there are multiple companies, some of them have great ideas, but some of them have mediocre ideas. But the mediocre idea companies are run by my people, the Jews, the chosen people. Why would I fund an inferior race with a better idea? They're not chosen, right? If I'm going to be the owning most of the financial IT and media companies, why would I give more value and more wealth to somebody who's not a Jew, who's not chosen? It makes no sense. It's like I'm chosen, I'm special, even my stupid idea is better than your best idea. So I will choose my own people, right? It doesn't matter how intelligent you are, it doesn't matter how gifted you are, it just does not matter because you are not chosen. How gifted can you be? And if somebody from the chosen tribe takes or steals your idea, first of all, it's not even stealing, right? Because that's chosen, it's privileged. How can someone superior steal from someone inferior, right? So, in the last and final point, all of the deception, all of the lies that you think are being waged upon you by Ben Shapiro and his ilk is actually absolutely justified and right because you are genetically a different race. You are not chosen. You will believe what your superiors tell you to. And if you don't believe they're your superiors, you're evil. From Ben Shapiro's perspective, this is absolutely right. If there was a blueprint for success in this world, then it would boil down to extreme racism and extreme in group preference till a point before everybody started hating you. To find that balance is a discussion for another time. But if we look at Ben Shapiro's basic message, it's that we are extremely racist, extremely, we have in group preference, we only help our own. We actively harm those who are not our own to keep reminding them that they are inferior and they're not the chosen. And is he correct in this approach? Well, over the last 6,000 years, and definitely over the last 2,000 years, over the last 450 years, this approach has shown to be successful to a degree. Because at the end, it's an unbalanced approach, right? The world and this reality requires order and chaos. This is just chaos. So, from Ben Shapiro's perspective and those of his ilk, in all the ways they think, in all the ways they justify, you are not even human. You are just cattle. And they are the chosen ones. So, in these kind of cases and thinking, Ben Shapiro is absolutely right. Next time, we will analyze if Nick Fuentes is right. So that's something to keep in mind. Until next time, keep it cool, keep it smart, and as always, enjoy.